Hi everyone. Assessment 1A is over and probably a distant memory for many of you, but we thought it would be a good idea to take some time to give you all some overall feedback in an effort to help you with the next assignment. This is especially important because you have a rare opportunity. Assessment 1B is essentially the same as 1A, just with a reading focus instead of a writing one. So applying the feedback that we've given you could have an enormous positive impact on your next grade. Firstly, congratulations, you did a great job. It's always hard to get the first assignment in, especially when you have others as well. So that's an achievement within itself. We've given you two types of feedback. The first is the in-text feedback. That's the feedback written on the top of your essay, where we've highlighted and identified strengths and some areas for improvement. Then there's your general comment, and that has your final grade in it, as well as more information about your work and some suggestions for further improvement. Make sure that you read both, as there's different information in these. Let's have a look at what we all did well and what we still need to have a think about. So you managed to choose an appropriate need for Harper and Madison, and many of you gave a great analysis of the writing sample in general to show your knowledge of writing development. You chose appropriate writing strategies. Well done to those people who told us how the strategy works, as well as how it supports the need. This helps the reader to make connections. Some people made it really easy for us to find the information that we needed by stating the need or the strategy up front. For example, Harper will benefit from this strategy because. You had some great ideas for lessons, which showed that you're starting to develop an understanding of the skills needed at different levels of learning to write. You also did a great job of explaining some of the benefits and limitations of those writing strategies. A special well done to those people who also managed to mention what the teacher might be able to do to combat some of those limitations. You used the e-text as your main source, just the way we asked you to, and this helped to keep you on track with all of your information. Let's move on to some reminders and some areas that lots of people found a little bit tricky. First of all, headings. Folios are different from essays in that you are allowed to include headings and subheadings. This will help you to organise your information and make it easy for us to find it. So we highly recommend that you do this. There's a template on the Padlet to help you with headings. Reading analysis and examples. You identified the writing need, but needed to tell us how you knew that this was a need. You could have done this by analysing the writing sample and then using examples from the sample to show the writing behaviours that you could see that led you to that need. You also needed to follow the idea through. So some people fell into the trap of switching writing strategy or need when they got to their lesson outline. You need to use the same need and strategy throughout your response for each child. So for the next assignment, you'll choose a reading need and then choose a reading strategy, explain how it works and how it supports the reading need, and then provide a lesson outline showing how you would teach that reading need using your chosen reading strategy. An outline versus a lesson plan. So a full lesson plan wasn't needed for this assignment, but you did need to give us more than just an activity. So what you needed to do was a simple paragraph explaining the basic outline of the lesson from beginning to end, showing us how you would use the teaching strategy that you chose and described to address the need that you have chosen. Incorporating teaching methods. If you did have a look at the template, you would have seen that there were some dot points there in the lesson section, which had teaching methods and ICT, etc. These were things we wanted you to make sure that you included in your paragraph about your lesson. They don't need to be separate paragraphs. In fact, it's more powerful for you to incorporate your teaching methods into your lesson outline. It shows us that you know how they fit. ICT inclusion. Your lesson doesn't have to be an ICT lesson, and it doesn't have to be the focus of the lesson. You just have to demonstrate how you could authentically use ICT to help support that need. Remember that this needs to align with the need and the lesson. So if you have a spelling lesson that focuses on the ow sound, it's not enough just to say that you've found a spelling app, because you need to demonstrate how that ICT will support not just spelling in general, but the focus of your lesson. Also try to steer away from word processing and find something interactive and engaging for the children. Section 2 tripped up quite a lot of people. You mentioned benefits and limitations of the strategies, which was great, but many people forgot to include a comparison. Another trap that people fell into was including the students in Section 2. This was a trap because it meant that you accidentally compared the children's development instead of the writing strategies. And then you talked about the benefits and limitations for the students, and as a result, you didn't quite show what you needed to show. This section is purely about strategies. Start with a comparison of the strategies, that is, how are they similar and how are they different? Then explain the benefits and limitations of the first strategy, and then follow that with a paragraph about the benefits and limitations of the other strategy. Then remember to give some thought to how the educator could overcome the limitations to make using that strategy worthwhile. Overall, you did a great job with many elements of referencing and in-text citations. Just a few reminders here. Referencing really is a bit of a formula. Once you have the formula, you'll find it much easier, and it is worth spending some time trying to work it out. And a few more reminders here as well about referencing. There are some great referencing help documents and links on the Padlet, so be sure to have a bit of a look there. And on this page, you'll also see that there's a link to the Swinburne APA Style Guide. While we're talking about referencing, a few important points. You must support your work with references. That is, you need to have in-text citations within your work to show where you got your information and support any truth claims that you've made. This was particularly a problem in Section 2. So many people had in-text citations in Section 1 and then seemed to forget to put them into Section 2. Not supporting your work with references can seriously affect your grade and also puts you at risk of plagiarism. In Section 1, you need to make links to curriculum. A reminder that these are school-aged children, so the appropriate curriculum document is the Australian curriculum. Remember to be specific. Find a specific outcome that links to your need and include the outcome code. There's a great document on the Padlet which explains how to reference the Australian curriculum. Wider reading is really important. It adds depth to your work. This doesn't mean that you need to find lots of sources and not use the e-text. In fact, that's the fastest way for you to go off track. Use the e-text as the basis of your work and supplement from there. You'll need to have more than the e-text and curriculum documents to be able to achieve the higher grades. There are so many resources available to help you to be successful in these assignments. Each weekly discussion is designed to help you unpack the content. Getting involved is highly recommended. The Padlet has a multitude of documents, information, and videos to help you with all aspects of the assignment. This should be your first port of call whenever you get a new assignment. If you can't find the Padlet, please let us know so that we can help you to locate it. On the Padlet is the Flipped Collaborate video made by Helen, our amazing unit coordinator, which unpacks the specifics of the assignment. You'll also find on the discussion board the recording link for the Assignment 1B Collaborate. Please take time to look at this if you are unable to attend one of the sessions. Using these resources will give you a strong foundation to start Assignment 1B on the right track. As always, we're here to help. Post your questions on the board in the Assessment 1B thread. Other people are probably wondering the same things that you are. Thanks for your time, everyone, and we hope this has been helpful. See you on the discussion board.